Hey, what's up? This is Paul Solt from Super Easy Apps. I am just going over app icons today, playing around with creating an icon, just throwing together something simple for this Mac app that I'm working on. I kind of wanted to go over the process. So I spent maybe an hour or two yesterday just playing around with different color schemes, different things. So I'm working on this slideshow presenter app that allows me to create these slides, and I can sort of select between the different slides. So I'm wanting to use the blue that is associated with the Super Easy Apps branding as like a starting point. So that's kind of like standing out to me. And I wanted something that's going to look good down on the bottom. So there's this tool called IconKit, which is super useful for testing out your icons down here. And I don't know why I wasn't starting with this, because I spent a lot of time just rebuilding the app with the new icons, and you have to clean it every time and insert new icons, and it's a slow process. So I should have just been using IconKit. So this app allows us to have a slideshow overlay that I can then walk through these different slides and talk about things while I'm interacting with the computer, and it's something that I wanted to use for some of my presentations. So this is a presenter view. I put this on my other screen so I can see my notes while I'm talking to the camera, so I can see exactly what keyboard shortcuts or what things I'm going to be talking about. And then you can see it on the screen here. So it just helps me create stuff all together. So I needed an app icon, and I was kind of searching online to see what are some slideshow app icons, like what are people doing, what sort of makes sense. I kind of want something iconic, but at the same time, I kind of want a play button, and I don't know. I don't know if I need like a play button and a mouse button or something like that, like a mouse icon, but I wanted to keep it simple. And so that's kind of like the whole goal of looking through these different things, kind of seeing like, okay, what different icons exist. Like this is very iconic for iMovie. GoPro Quick used to be, I would say, somewhat iconic in terms of the quick branding. But I don't necessarily just want like a letter. Like I think that letter marks are less impactful and less useful. That's why I think the iMovie mark is really good. It's iconic. It's like, okay, I've got a movie star. Got it. Movie star. Cool. I get it. Like M with a bunch of dots. I don't know. This one's a little bit iconic. I just don't understand what it is. So, but that's what a mark is for, to create something. Okay, so where did I start? So I started with a simple, I just want a play button. I was using an SF symbol in another app, video player app I had done, but that's against terms of use if I actually want to submit it. So it's good for like prototyping. So you can grab a symbol and you can throw it on here. So if I just search for arrow or play, I think you can get a sense for how something will feel, but it's against terms of service to actually use this. But it's worth it. Like if you're just doing a little demo app, like, I don't know, that's kind of cool. I like the curved corners. Whoops. So that's super. I have to select the text. So just playing around with, okay, does this work? Does it not work? Like we could sort of see the difference that since I already have the curves, like having curves kind of helps a little bit more than just having the straight angles. Not making it too big. If it's too big, then it doesn't feel like it fits. Like this would be overwhelming. And the other thing that you have to keep in mind with icon design is that this side's going to feel heavier than this side. And so that sometimes, like, even if you center it perfectly, it looks a little off center. And so you might have to skew it forward. I don't know if at this size you necessarily have to. It feels okay, but that's something that sometimes like cheating a little bit forward can help. It doesn't look good to me here in this case. With this one, oops. This one, I think it's not fully centered, but this was okay. And so what I could do is I would export like kind of my working prototypes. And I don't know if did I keep, this is the new icon. Let's go back. The original icon I had was this. So I can take this IconKit, which has actually a really nice icon, and I can just drop it here. And if I do Mac, since I'm targeting Mac and I hit preview, we'll see that the icon then appears down here. So you can sort of get a sense for what it looks like, figure out if you like the corner radius. Like there was one thing I was trying to like get closer to the corner radiuses of the other applications. This one, it kind of disappears into the bar. And so I was playing around with some background elements. And so if we go into the new stuff, these are all the new versions. So if I can drag this on, I started playing with not being straight up. And so you can do that on a Mac app. You can't do that on an iPhone app. So I started playing around with having some kind of border or something that would feel a little bit different, just to give it a different vibe. And I kind of liked that approach, but it wasn't quite right. Because it was too, for me, at least in the dark mode, it was too dark and not contrasty enough. So then I started playing with this. So you can sort of see this. It wasn't standing out enough against that menu bar. And I think I can zoom in here. So it lacks some of that distinctiveness, which maybe is not a bad thing. Like WebEx sort of disappears into the menu bar. This one sort of disappears on the top portion. That's Apple's own. And we've got these different app icons, but they're all pretty iconic. Like I probably like Freeform the least out of all of these icons. I like the simplicity of the music app. I don't mind the system settings. I really like the things icon. I think the preview icon works. I really like the happy face. It sets a good vibe for the Mac. So I started playing around with this a little bit more, tweaking some of the shading effects and just sort of like figuring out, okay, well, what if I do a little bit more color to make it pop a little bit more? And then, so I have some variations of sort of playing with this. And then I started just working with these different layers, just to sort of see like, what would that look like? Just playing around with different settings here, trying some different things. And then I opted for something with a little bit of a under light to just make it pop a little bit more. And I think that works pretty well. I think this is good enough. I'm not looking for the most perfect icon right now. I just need something to represent the app. And so let's see what's different here. So the main difference in these last two icons was I was getting darker on the bottom, but instead I kept my super easy apps blue on the bottom, and then I made it shift a lighter color. So big fan of blue. So you're going to see a lot of blue in this. And then just dragging this here, you can see that brightens up and I can preview what those look like. Then what's nice with this tool is then I can export. So I can export all of these app icons onto the desktop. I think there's already a folder, so I don't know what it's going to do. Just try it. And we see it right here. So it's giving me all of the different sizes that I need to submit to the App Store. And so then you can just drag and drop these icons from IconKit. So I can just take this, drag it right here. Now I've already done this, but you just drag each of them. And there you go. That's the new app icon. So that's where I'm at. That's IconKit. It's a super useful application. I don't know who makes it. Appersion. Appersion. Okay. You can look for that on the App Store. And then, so the next thing that I was doing is, okay, well, how does my app look compared to other apps? And I just want to get a sense for like this icon. So this is me sort of playing around with the icon, putting it on. So searching for Slideshow, looking at the app icons here and seeing how it sort of stands out. I like that it's not a square. Like, I don't really like the square new design of Mac apps, but I think that's to try and unify the design standard between iOS and macOS. And I don't think I need to play that game, so I might as well just go with this. And plus, I already use this angle in Super Easy apps. My Super Easy timer. I already have an angle here just to make it stand out. I just felt like it's more interesting when there's some kind of angle. Like you can see that with Multi-Markdown Composer. And you get that effect with these different tools in like Pixelmator Pro and in Xcode of just not being a square box. So that's sort of playing around with how does it compare? Would it look good if it was on the App Store? I don't really like the PowerPoint icon. I much prefer, I think, the Keynote icon. I thought about going down this route of having like the multiple items with a play button, but for right now, I think I can do this and just run with it. So that's what the new icon looks like in my, I don't know what I want to call this, slideshow overlay or overlay slideshow. Maybe overlay slideshow. If we go into the App Store, I don't see anything like this. And so that's the other thing I was trying to search for. Like I couldn't find a tool that did what I wanted to do. So overlay. All the overlays were like editing images and slideshow. You get CapCut and Canva. So overlay screencast. Screen tracing. So this is for keeping something on top of everything. So there's an interesting idea for an overlay icon. Oh wait, did it change my search? Overlay screen. That's interesting. There's apps that will darken the screen. Like I'm not sure how Canva does any of this. Canva I see as for editing images, but I guess it does do slideshows now. Maybe. So I don't know what other words to use besides overlay. So like that's what I was searching for. And then if we just search here, maybe no one's ever wanted to do this. Like there's a presenter overlay, which is Apple's thing for screencasting essentially with your desktop. But it's not really a slideshow. So it's, is it a slideshow? How does PowerPoint create impactful presentations? What does Keynote call it? Build stunning presentations. So I'm not in the business of building a stunning presentation. I just want to run a slideshow on top of all your content and allow you to quickly cycle through that while you're talking to content. So that's a little bit of exploration into my App Store icon. I don't know if I'll publish this app, but I need something so it's not just like the blank icon that is the default of any app on the App Store. So that's a little bit about, oh, I didn't want to keep that in there. Can we close this? That's a little bit about picking an app icon for my app just to have some kind of placeholder, making it so that it's a little bit iconic and it stands out. Maybe it's too much blue, but I'm a blue person. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about this whole process of coming up with an icon and sort of like looking at the competition, trying to figure out like where your app maybe stands out and trying to understand maybe. I think the closest thing, one last thought, is the Markdown slide deck. What's it called? So here's a tool that allows you to make Markdown slides, but there's a IA writer. What's it called? Maybe it's not on the App Store. Do I need that space? It's not on the App Store. Okay. Let me know if this was helpful. Just sort of exploring app icons. You can spend a lot of time here. Your first goal is to just get something that works. So I think I'm at that point, and I'm just going to move on to the next thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.